Most of you are already aware about this process, and it is one of the fundamental or primary manufacturing process of our production technology. And as you all know that in casting process, uh, we take our raw material in the form of ingots, and then we melt this raw material using heat sources, basically in different types of furnaces. And then we pour this molten metal into a predefined cavity, which is called as the mold. And then you fill this mold with your molten metal, and then you allow it to solidify for some time. And after the solidification is completed, you take out your solidified casting, which has acquired the shape of your mold. So this is very, you can say, uh, very relatively very easy type of manufacturing process. And this casting process is divided into different types of casting processes, like sand casting, which is our basic casting process. And uh, then we can perform our casting process using permanent die molds, mold cavity. Uh, Casting can be carried out under the action of gravity, or the flow of material inside the cavity can be achieved with the help of pressure. So that comes under the die casting processes. Then we have uh, flow of material due to centrifugal forces. So those type of casting processes are centrifugal casting processes, and there are also two types: true centrifugal process and semi-centrifugal casting process. Uh, and then we have precision casting processes like shell molding and investment casting. So these are different type of casting processes, and we have already learned their details in our manufacturing course of first year. And here in this particular unit, I'm going to cover some points which were not touched, or which were not focused in our previous course. And the first, I will start with the basics, and then I will try to cover the advanced or more advanced topics of this technology. So I think you all are aware of these famous diagrams. So first one is the open mold, and as you can see here, casting is of very simple shape and a very small size. And then here the mold opening is this mold is open to the atmosphere directly. Your atmosphere is working on the surface of your molten metal, which is filled inside the mold cavity. So this particular process is used to form simple type of castings, simple shape castings. And then we have its more advanced version, which is our closed mold type casting. Here, your die cavity or the solidifying molten metal is not in direct contact with the atmosphere. So in this case, the oxidation and other casting defects are very prominent, while in case of closed mold, you have minimum casting defects, and you can achieve you can form products of complex shape. So here this whole process is carried out in a flask, which has two parts. One is the cope part, which is the upper part of the mold, and then this is the bottom part, which is known as the drag, and both are properly aligned over each other. They are properly mated over each other, and both the parts are separated by a line, imaginary line, which is called as the parting line. So here in this case, in both the cases, your mold material is made up of sand, clay, and binders. And here, this you can see the opening or the entry through which your molten metal is poured. This is called the pouring cup or the pouring basin. And then when the metal is poured at this particular location, so due to the under the action of the gravity, it flows down through a small channel, which is called narrow channel, which is called a sprue or down sprue, and then it flows with the help of a particular horizontal channel, which is called the runner. And here is a cavity which is known as the riser, and this is also known as the reservoir of your casting. And then your molten metal flows and then it reaches the entry of your mold cavity. So this entry, this particular section is sometime is known as the gate. So gate is an opening through which your molten metal enters into the die cavity. And then centrally there is a die cavity of predefined shape and size, and then molten metal fills the entire cavity, and whatever be the extra material you have filled, it will acquire its place in this particular section, which is called the riser. So then you allow it to solidify. So during the solidification, you all know that all metals, they suffer from this solidification shrinkage. So that will cause the reduction in the size of the this molded part or casting. And then to overcome this shrinkage, solidification shrinkage, the material which is filled inside the riser, it comes out and it fills the space created at the surface of your casting, and then your casting will be of your required size as you have calculated in the design phase. So so you can see that during the solidification process, this riser should be the last portion to solidify. So it should not solidify first. So first the solidification it should start from the mold cavity, and then it should progress backwards, and then this riser should solidify in the last, so that it will have the molten metal to compensate the solidification shrinkages. And suppose if you want to have a hollow casting, then that type of product you can achieve with the help of core. Core is basically a piece of sand or metal which prevents the filling of your molten metal at the middle of the section. So this core is is generally made up of the sand, and it does not allow the molten metal to acquire the place in the middle section. So hence you will achieve a hollow section at the center of your casting. And then after the mold is after solidification is completed, this mold is broken, and then you take out your cast product, and then you trim this product from here, and after that your core material, which is your sand material, it can also be taken out, and then you will have a hollow or solidified casting. So in order to make this cavity. This cavity can be formed with the help of an object which is called the pattern, and it is the replica of the part which you want to mold. So this pattern can be made with the help of different types of materials such as wood, plastics, and metal. And in sand casting process, this wood pattern are very common, and you can also in whole casting processes, different types of casting process, plastics, wax, metals, wood, these materials are used for making the pattern. And this is our primary or fundamental procedure for making a sand casting. So what you do, first of all, you take one half of the pattern. So this pattern is having the same shape and size of the part to be casted. So so you know that your part is going to suffer from solidification, shrinkage, and the part should be easily be withdrawn. The part should be easily be withdrawn, and should have a certain type of allowances to compensate the solidification, shrinkage. And sometimes you know that most of the defects are arising over the surface of your cast product. So your solidified casting should be bigger in size, and then afterwards and after that you can machine easily to make it into the required size. So what you do, you take one half of the pattern which is having the required shape of the part to be casted, but this pattern should have some bigger size, so that a big size cavity will be formed, and that will take care of all the solidification, shrinkages, and all the compensatory allowances. Then you take the upper this part of the flask, and then you place the flask, one half of the flask over the this pattern, and then you fill it with the help of your prepared sand. So your prepared sand will have the sand particles and clay content and water contents, and some binders, some organic binders. And then you ram this sand with the help of your mallet or ramming objects, and then you fill it tightly, and after that you can remove your pattern from this particular section. So it will leave the cavity behind in this particular part. And then you take another half of the pattern, and similarly you you place the second half of the flask over this second part of the pattern, and then you again follow the same process of filling this part with the this molding sand. And then you take out your second part. So you will have now you will have the this cavity in two halves. And then what you do, you place these two parts, cope part and drag part, over each other. And then at this particular location you place two pins or two sticks like objects, so that it will it will create the section or the channel for the feeding of your molten metal into the die cavity. And from here you can pour your liquid metal into this pouring basin, and then it will fill the space or your cavity. And and after some time this casting is solidified, and then you break this mold, and then you can easily get your solidified cast product. And here in this case you can observe that you are using an expandable mold. So expandable mold means that it is going to be expanded, means it is going to be utilized. So you cannot utilize the mold again and again. And suppose if you want to produce your product in large quantity or in large size or batches, so you require a mold of permanent material. So for that purpose, metal molds of steel and or sometimes the molds are made up of graphite. They are used to make the casting in large number, and they are widely used for mass production. So this is the basic process of making sand casting. So, if you like the video, then please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Thanks for watching my videos.